Hello, the people of TikTok. We are going live tonight to do a debrief, but first I need to rally the troops, so to speak. So you'll just have to forgive me while I type some stuff. What is this? Swipe to see the real time. Okay. Why is the screen going black? Hi, nice to see you. I'm just getting ready. I need to get my team in and get them rocking and rolling. Let's just send some messages out to them. Okay, I need to get this one first. Where are you? Okay. Okay, so tonight we will be talking about a ghost event that happened last weekend. Hi Sammy, is that you in there? I think it is. Perfect. Hopefully I can just leave it to you, Sammy. I don't know any of these controls. It's the first live attempt. Anyway, we'll be talking tonight about the stuff that happened in the last ghost event, which was at a place called the Mint House in Pevensey. It's a building that dates back pre 1500s. It's got lots and lots of legendary, ghost things, phenomena, if you like, that range from the local legends where people would walk past this old house and claim to see a woman standing looking out of the window. There is also a story about back in the times when they would go hunting on the grounds and stuff of this house back in the 1500s. I think it may be a little bit earlier. There's a story that talks about the master of the house being out hunting animals, obviously, because that's what they hunt back then, and returning to the house to find his wife or mistress, I'm not really sure which it was, engaging in extra marital activities, shall we say, and as a result of that, he decided it was only right to cut off her tongue and to spit roast on a fire the chap. And so there's a story about this gruesome stuff that happened back there. Hi Kate, nice to see you. Brilliant to see you there. And we've got some brilliant mods on. Thank you so much. Oh, there's something just happened. I'm not sure. It sounds a bit like a till going off. Hi Linz, brilliant to see you as well. Thank you so much for coming to have a look. We're waiting for Molly to turn up. I did send her message. Fab will join now. I think she's on her way. Sam, I'm hoping you can... there she is. Team Mike Sierra. Team Mike Sierra. If Sam, if you can find that one, add it to a box in some way, then we can crack on with the debrief of the things that actually happened rather than legends that were supposed to be going on. Okay, I can see the mods are doing stuff for us. You've got some amazing mods in here tonight. Not all of them are moderating, but they're a fantastic team. I've seen them in operation on other lives, and we're very privileged to have them come and take an interest in our stuff and help us as we get through as well. There we go. Molly, fantastic to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, all very good. Are you nice and rested now from the...
warmed up.
Yeah, it was. So let's just be clear. So it was like minus one at about midnight. I think it dropped a bit below that to like minus below that anyway, -2, -3 or something like that. I know that it hit about -4 on the way back. So it was really cold, and I can tell you now that the temperature inside the house did feel colder than outside the house.
Yeah.
Well. So it was a terrible night in terms of temperature. It was really, really cold. But let's talk about the stuff that happened. And I want to kind of give a balance for you, because you led that event that night, Molly. You were the event leader. So give us an overview of the sort of things, the sort of phenomena that happened. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and play devil's advocate, if you like, and I'm going to ask about the stuff around it. And I know our team. I know we would have considered already, the normal stuff that happens.
Yeah.
But we're gonna discuss it and see where it goes.
Cool. Shall I start by what vigil we started with, and we'll go from there?
Like? Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So we started upstairs first, and it was pretty active from when we went up there. So we went and set up all the music boxes and cat balls up the corridor, and that was all quiet to start with. we went and we did a seance to build a bit of energy, and we were sat there, and there's a little attic room, and we could hear footsteps up in the attic. So we had one of the team members go and have a look. There was nothing up there, no pigeons, rats or anything. And then the music box was going off, and that was happening for the whole vigil for about 50 minutes, non-stop. We reset it twice, and it was still going.
So let's get this. So let's just look at the thing. So it's an old timber frame building, I know, and the corridor you're talking about is the one that sits behind the rooms, where the locals have reported the ghost of a woman staring out of the window.
Yes.
Obviously, from outside, you couldn't see the corridor, and you wouldn't be able to see the attic space as well, because the attic space used to be a place where servants and all that would be sleeping, or would sleep up there, according to the history of the place. Anyway, so you heard footsteps in the attic space.
Yeah. It was like walking from the front of the house back towards where we were, but it never come down the stairs.
Okay. Did you check? Obviously, you looked up there.
Yeah, we had 2 of the team members. They went up and had a look. There was nothing up there, no pigeons, rats, or anything like that. Completely empty.
And I can verify as well that there is actually no floor up there, because, there's obviously a floor, but it's not a floor for walking on.
Yeah, you'd go through.
So I think with that phenomenon, one thing to consider is, of course, it's a timber frame building. And I know that you know this, Molly. It's a timber frame building. And when you make a sound at one end of it, the sound will travel through the woods and therefore be amplified in all the other spaces as well. But so what would be you were there. I'm just skepticizing, if you like. So you were there, and I've given this point to you. Okay, could it possibly be a sound coming from elsewhere in the house being carried through by the wooden beams, do you think?
If it was the hallway, potentially, because you could, where the staircases leads down, you can hear downstairs back to where like the base room is. So if it was the hallway, I would have said it could have been, but where it's situated, there's nothing really underneath. So I'm not sure what it could have been. Okay.
The other side of that, of course, is one of the things to know is that when sound does travel through beams and stuff like that, what happens is that it will, it is a very dull sound. So you'll get knocks and taps and that sort of thing. It's a very dull sort of sound. Whereas if you have a sound within your vicinity, it's got that kind of edge to it, that treble edge to it as well. I think I just saw Lucy appear on the add to a box. Sam, I'm not sure if Lucy just appeared there, but if she wanted to come and speak to us, she was one of the guests on the night. She's welcome to pop in and speak if she'd like to. Okay, so that's an interesting one. So you had footsteps in the vicinity that you felt were coming from the attic.
Yeah.
What was there anything else that happened in that area for you?
It was just the music box was non-stop, and we were all in the other room around the table, so it was none of us potentially making that noise. So we reset it, come back away, because the guests aren't allowed in that bit because it's roped off. So there was no person walking in front of it, and it was still going on and on and on. And we did move it twice. We moved it off of the steps and then put it back on the steps, and it was still going.
Yeah, so the way that this triggers, obviously, it would need a solid object. It's not like a PIR sensor or anything like that. It works a bit like a sonar. So it maps the area, it calibrates the area, and should anything then change in that area, it will trigger the thing to go off. Now, you could say, well, what about if you considered mice and rats and all that sort of stuff? Of course, but there is no evidence of mice and rats in the place. There's no droppings or anything like that. I think that's Kate. Is that Kate coming to say hello to us? There's no evidence of any of that sort of stuff in that area, and so I could discount the fact that it could be that sort of stuff. Also, Kate's coming to say, Kate's gone again. There's no evidence of rodents, should we say? So I think we could say that probably wasn't the cause of the triggering of the equipment. Which then leaves us with saying, well, what could possibly trigger it? Because there was obviously I know that it was in an area that there was no one. Mm-hmm. It's in the hallway, which has got a massive reputation for the ghost walking down the hallway, or a ghost, spirit, person, or whatever, walking down the hallway. And so while you're in that area, you've got the phenomena of footsteps coming from the attic space. And of course, you've got the triggering of equipment which would only trigger should something physically change in its environment, in a space where there simply was no one and all rodents and stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. And the only other thing we had in there, we moved back into the seance table, and everyone was sat around the table and they were trying to get the table tip in. It didn't tip, but there was vibrating on the table, and I think near enough everyone felt it.
Okay. You were there, you would know how'd you get a table to vibrate? I mean,
Pretty hard. And you'd see if someone was doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And so did you come up with any other sort of things? When you did the seance, was there any kind of interactive stuff that happened?
Yeah, one of the team members, they were asking for you to copy me, and they knocked twice on the table. And it took a bit of time, but a couple of minutes later, something knocked twice, but it was underneath the floor.
Oh, okay.
So unless someone's underneath with a broom. It was under people's feet.
Yeah. Well, even if there was no brooms there that I ever saw. And of course, I wouldn't be able to reach the ceiling to knock on it because it's high enough that you couldn't do it. Of course, we're going back to the timber frame building again and the sound travelling and all that sort of stuff. That's all possible, I guess. But in the moment where I guess that you're asking for some kind of response.
Yeah, we were asking for them, can you make a noise? Can you tap back? And it took a few minutes, but it tapped back exactly the same.
Okay, yeah, that's what you responded to.
Yeah.
And so did you come up with any kind of names and stuff from the seance? Did anything come through and communicate with you whilst you were doing that, or in a kind of psychic way for the people that were there? Anyone get any messages and things?
There wasn't much in the upstairs. We don't know if the music box was being set off by a kid, though, because it seemed quite playful. Okay. It was either playful or something was literally just standing in front of it, not moving, just watching.
Did you, because the SLS camera was also in that area, I believe, did you use that or get anything from that?
No, we didn't use the SLS.
Okay, no problem. So where did you go next?
We moved down to the glass room, right downstairs. So we did the Frank's box. We got a couple of names come out. We had John come through first, and we were like, okay, hi John, how are you? And he literally come back with freezing, and everyone heard it, which was quite funny.
Okay, so we're left with the dilemma now of worrying about if ghosts can get cold.
Get cold, yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe.
That's not something I've ever worried about before, but maybe it's something to consider. We have a lady in the chat called Rachel. Rachel, is it possible that ghosts can get cold, do you believe? Or is it something that it's not something I've come with? We'll see if Rachel can give us an answer to that. All right, so he was talking about being cold.
Yeah, and he said that he was going to show himself. Okay, we were going, okay, can you show yourself then? And a couple of team members saw what they thought was a shadow darting from one side of the door to the other. We did have the laser grid on, which was flicking on and off, so it could have been a shadow of that, but it was seen 2 or 3 times by the same people.
Okay, so at the time these people saw it, was other people observing that space as well?
Yeah.
But it was only these particular people that saw it?
Yeah.
What about angle of light and stuff? So an example, so if they're sitting on the right-hand side and they witness it and the people on the left maybe didn't witness it, is that possible?
It could have been, because it come from the left-hand side of the door and went across to the right side and disappeared into that second room.
Okay. So I'm just getting to the point of trying to understand why 2 people would see it and then other people wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is maybe the angle in which it was being viewed from.
Yeah, I think everyone who saw it was sat on the right side of the table.
Okay. So, I mean, it's always, what we're talking about here is a shadow being seen in the dark.
Yeah.
Which is, tough anyway. How would you see that? Because there's no light to create the shadow in the first place. And so therefore you're talking potentially about a figure, which is like a shadow figure, could you call it that?
Yeah.
Going across how fast did it move?
I'm not quite sure. I didn't see anything. So I'm not quite sure. But they said it was like someone just walked past. Okay, so it can't have been normal speed.
Normal walking speed. The whole of the building has got reputation for ghosts and various sightings from not only the public that walk past it in the daytime outside, but also the people that have worked inside it over the years as well. There's hundreds of ghost accounts, and so you can pretty much go to any area of this house and have a story about a ghost or have some kind of witness testimony, shall we say, about a sighting that would have happened. And they go way back to even like the 40s and before that, these various accounts of the stuff that goes on in this place. All right, so upstairs we walked, just to recap, we've got the footsteps we can't really explain, or we can't, and we've got the corridor, which is triggering stuff. And you've got the knocks that happened on the floor underneath. And of course now we've gone into the glass room, and in the glass room area we was doing that experiment we called it Frank's box. Basically it's a white noise experiment where we're trying to communicate live with spirits and stuff using a thing called an actual genuine Frank's box. And you had someone called John come through and speak, and he said cold. And then you've had this shadow figure going past. It's like me going, is there anything else? It's not like it's not enough. I mean, that's huge anyway, the sort of stuff you've encountered so far.
So we asked if anyone else was there. It said Alice is here, but Alice was one of our team members. We weren't quite sure if it was her or not because it didn't answer that. It said one of our other team members' names 3 times, I think. And where the shadow was seen, the 2 men on our team, they went out and went to debunk it and have a look, see if there was light movements. And once they left the room, the seat between me and the lady opposite, it was like someone had sat down on it, like between us. You could hear the floor underneath creak. So that was quite strange.
So this is why you're sat around the table. Just want to take a second just to say thank you to everybody that's come to have a look at what we're talking about tonight. Also, thank you for all the likes and the heart me's and all that sort of stuff and the roses. It's so kind of you. We really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much for that sort of stuff. I can see the chat whizzing by. I'm very much relying on our moderators tonight, which is just looking after it because I'm total novice when it comes down to TikTok stuff. Eventually we'll get to grip of it, but I just wanted to say a huge appreciation for the people that have come to see. Just a quick recap. We're talking about a ghost event that happened at the place called the Mint House in a place called Pevensey in Sussex. It dates back pre-15. In fact, Molly, how old is that place?
I think it was built in, I want to say, the 1200s, from what I remember.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely. You did give me the history document. All I can say is it's older than 1500. I know it's a lot older than that because it used to. And originally, it was like I don't know. It was a coaching inn, wasn't it, or something? It's been many things over the years, isn't it? This place. It's got a huge association with the paranormal or ghosts sighting inside of the building, obviously due to its age. It's also, but no one can tell you what the inn's name was. It doesn't seem to be recorded anywhere. It's one of the things that hopefully one day we'll get to know, we'll get to understand through maybe some kind of ghost communication, and then it can be proved. Wouldn't that be cool? So, okay, so we're doing the Frank's box session. Did you have anything actually else come through in terms of communication using the Frank's box?
We asked them who else was there. They said there was 10 spirits with us. We also had the name Rupert come through. And he told us to F off, and we were like, oh, it's very lovely of you. But that was really clear. And that he said that twice, I think. And once we heard that, it sounded like a door had shut outside, but all the doors were shut already. So we don't know what that was. But that was outside of the Frank's box room completely.
Okay, that's weird. So all the doors that could be shut were shut, and all the doors that can't be shut are left. They can't be shut anyway.
Yeah.
So you had a door shut. I'm trying to think where that could possibly have come from. It's a strange one. Obviously, there's doorways, but no doors on them.
Yeah, because you've got the doorway leading out from the glass room, and then to your left, you've got like the gated door, which was locked. Then you've got another archway to the right going in, and then you've got the door you enter through, and we shut that when we come in.
All right. Okay, well, that's cool. So you've had that as well. So it's quite a lot. Did anything else in that area happen to you guys?
We moved out and did a Ouija in the next room. A lot of swearing. A lot of swearing.
What, from the guests or?
No, from whatever we were talking to. We asked it its name. It said no. We were like, okay. Are you human? No. It spelled out demon. Not so sure it was. Then said it was 18. And the whole room, I mean, it was cold anyway, but it got colder as we were standing doing it. Everyone was shaking. And it built up so much energy when everyone's fingers were on the planchette. The planchette actually flew off of the board.
Right.
It was quite interesting. And as well as that, we had the K2 sat next to the Ouija, and it was flashing response in all the way to red every time we asked a yes/no question.
So we're talking about a hyper-active area here, aren't we? It's a massive, I mean, the location itself is just electric with activity anyway. And we've gone in there, we're doing experiments, we're trying to encourage activity, and it seems to be that we've been very lucky this night. But not only have we had the phenomenon we talked about earlier with the footsteps and all the rest of it, but now we've got a Ouija planchette flying off the wall. I mean, obviously, you know, I know the set of guests that you had, and they come very regularly with us. And it's not like them to stage anything. I know them. So it's really quite fascinating that would have happened. Would you say it was flung from the board in an attempt to stop the communication, to stop the experiment?
Potentially. It said it didn't like us being there. So we kind of took that as an, okay, well, let's wind it up slightly. We were going, well, can you do something else? Can you make a noise? No. Why can't you make a noise? Don't want to. So it was circling the board, not answering questions, and it just got so fast that all of our fingers come off of it.
Okay, it just flew across the board. Brilliant. Okay, what did you do next?
We then moved into the reception room, which was the base room. It wasn't too active. There was quite a few personal messages on the glass moving for the team. There was also 2 people did the pendulums, and there was a male come through, and they got the name Thomas, which when you look at the history, I think he was one of the owners of the building. So we think it could have been him. And also on the glass moving, they had a smuggler come through that was executed. So that was quite interesting.
For being a smuggler?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I mean, it would have been rife. That town is fairly coastal. It would have been a big smuggling community going on around there. Excuse me. And so you think that one of the owners was called Thomas?
Thomas, yeah.
All right, and we can make an inquiry about that, I'm sure. I'm trying to think what else there is in connection to that, because we don't know. There isn't much, it seems, documented about the early stuff about that building, or if there is, it may have been destroyed or whatever. It's not known by even the people that are there today. And they've looked, and they're looking a lot into that history and stuff to try and dig out the actual building facts and stuff. So you've done the seance, you've done the Frank's box. Where did you go after that?
We finished in the Oak Room. It was kind of a quieter vigil. There wasn't much noise really going on, but we did auto-write him. And to be fair, that was quite active. It really got going. We had Rupert come through, who we met in the Frank's box room. Apparently he used to work there, but we couldn't get anything else from him. There was no idea what he did as a job, so we're not quite sure. But we did have a female come through as well called Sarah. She had a child, apparently. That's all we could get from her. And then we also did a Ouija in there. We had quite a lot of detail on this person. So we had someone called Stephen Clements come through. He was 30 when he died, and he was a historian at the Mint House in 1956. Apparently he died of stomach cancer. And the reason he's still there is he's looking for his girlfriend, who apparently is still alive. She's now 83 and she's remarried and lives near the area. And her name was Ellie Mower. So we got quite a bit of information to look into. Yeah,
that's quite interesting. All of that stuff's in the notes and stuff, I assume. Because we're going to do something with those notes, as we've spoken about another time. We won't go on about it now, but so it'd be fascinating if we can find the people, not find them and turn up on their doorstep or anything like that, but find out, find the chap that we're talking about in history, somewhere in any records and what have you, because that'd be a brilliant piece of evidence, if you like. Okay, so we've had that, and that means you must have finished your final vigil in the reception area. Before we go any further, I just want to say a couple of bits to the audience. Thank you so much, guys. We're on 6.5 thousand likes. That's absolutely incredible. We're so grateful for that. Really great stuff. Just to recap for anyone that's joined, we're talking about a ghost event which took place at a place called the Mint House in Pevensey. It's a massively, it's got a massive reputation for being a haunted place, not only by the people that have worked inside this building over the years, dating back, it goes back to about the 1200s and stuff. And even since about the 1940s or the 30s, there's a lot of recorded accounts of activity or ghost encounters within the building in various areas of it. So it seems to be haunted throughout. It's got a great history and a great documented thing of all the things that have happened. The local legend of people that live in the village where this house is situated will all tell you the same ghost story, and that is that there's a lady that stares from an upstairs window as they walk past, so much so that the locals will not look at the upstairs window should they walk past at dusk or after dark and stuff. It's got a very big legend attached to it. So we're going to move on now to Molly's final vigil, which was in the reception area. So this is the bit you walk straight into as you come in the front door, isn't it? That area there.
Yeah, it was pretty quiet, to be honest with you. It was just a lot of personal messages come through from the team on the auto writing. We didn't get any faces as such on Scrying, but a lot of people's faces were blacked out. So they couldn't see anything, even though the lights were on in the mirror, everything went black. But besides that, it was quite a quiet end to our night.
I think when it gets so cold, and it was absolutely freezing, whether or not that affects the phenomena of a place, I couldn't tell you because I don't know. But it certainly does affect the people that are taking part, even though they might be feeling like they're willing. But the trouble is, because everyone's wearing like massive puffer jackets and everyone literally is curled up inside, aren't they? Even though they just stood, but they're curled because it's so cold. You could see your breath in front of your face in parts of that building. I know it's super cold, and I'm wondering if when it gets to actually be that cold, if it has a detrimental effect to the level of activity because of the energy of the guests. You know, it just goes from, I'm so cold, I just want to be warm. I know it's super cold, and it always is when it's January in it, and it's, you know, it's an old building. It's got walls like paper thin.
Yeah.
And absolutely no form of heating whatsoever. So Molly, you were the event leader that night. So what did you did the debrief as well? Was there anything interesting that came from the other teams when they did their debriefs to you on that night?
I think Lorraine had a really interesting name. I think it was TRO, and she got that in like 3 locations. And I think he was a smuggler as well. So whether that was the same person we potentially could have connected with, that would be interesting. And I know Kate's team had a lot of table tipping, which sounded amazing. I mean, we were hearing it from the Oak Room when they were in the reception area.
Yeah.
We could just hear them laughing and this table going around the room.
Well, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, when you sort of say table tipping, I know what I'm visiting. I'm visiting like a table, like it's one of those small tables where people put their hands on it and it rocks around and stuff like that. It wasn't that. This is a massive trestle table. This is a table bigger than my desk that we're sitting at, almost like a seance table. And the guests are sitting there, and they're all around it. And on the table, there's a light. There's a very dim, well, like a candlelit, electronic candlelit light. You can see everyone's hands because everything has to be above board. And I know that watching some video clips of this happen to Kate's team, what you can see is you can see where Kate is, and she's got her hands like on, not on the sides but in the middle of this table. And you can see the whole thing when as soon as she puts her hands on the table, the whole thing just shifts. And I looked at it, I thought, okay, so as a skeptical person, I go, well, could it be possible that someone accidentally moved the table with their foot? Mm-hmm. Could it be possible that it was, I don't know, someone moved it? But these tables are really heavy.
Yeah.
They are really heavy, as we found out when we were putting them up and down and stuff. So it's not a light table. I don't think you could move it with your foot. Simple as that. I don't think I could move it with my foot. Could you shove it with a sign? Yes, you could, but you would be seen to do that. And that's not what we see on the video. What we see on the video is everyone just sitting with the table and their hands or palms are on the table, and this whole table just shifts around. And it's just something really odd. This seems to happen there as a consistent phenomena, if you like. I've seen this happen to the point, I mean, last year, Kate had a vigil there where she was doing a seance upstairs in the area that you were talking about with the footsteps and the alleyway and stuff, not alleyway, landing. And there was just nothing but screams and everything coming from, because this table was like on its own, it was moving on its own, and the guests on that night were witnessing this happen. And it was, you know, they were loving it because it was something going on, of course, but of course it's at the same time, you know, terrifying in that moment, I guess, when a table moves on its own. That's an odd thing. So it does have reputation for being able to do that, this location. You know, I just wanted to clarify that, because you know, when we talk about table tipping, yeah, I guess it is table tipping, is it? I don't know, but it's certainly a phenomenon with this table that's kind of moving. It's almost like poltergeist activity, isn't it? Really, level in a place, I guess. That's, and we also had that other thing that happened, not last time we were there, but the time before, where we've got our kit boxes, and these kit boxes probably weigh somewhere between sort of 10, 20, 30 pounds each. That's sort of like bordering on 40 kilograms. And they've got like a lip, so you can stack them inside, and they've got a lip, so the bottom of the box stacks within, and you couldn't push it because it would push against the lip of the previous box. But when Kev was putting these boxes together, he was on his own in the building, stacking these boxes up before, and we were all in the base room together doing the debrief at that time. And when we all heard it, we heard, oh, thanks for the kind of hat thing. It makes me look a bit like Benny Hill. But maybe I should start running around this office space with that music playing. That would be quite funny. Where I'll get to, I'll distract you. So yeah, so these boxes were being stacked. We all heard these boxes shove, right? With it's quite a distinctive and loud noise because they're quite big boxes and stuff. And we all just thought it was Kev. And Kev came back to find his neat stack of boxes, like all twisted and barely standing up because they were losing their balance. And he was just coming to us and told us about it in the middle of the debrief. I don't even remember that. And he took pictures of these crooked boxes and stuff. And we're going, it's just boxes. Not really realising what he was saying. He was saying, yes. But a moment ago, they were all straight. And when I walked off, no one's touched them. And I've come back. We all heard the noise and they've all gone like that. So we are potentially talking about the poltergeist activity, or the capability of poltergeist activity within that space. And Molly, you're an experienced ghost investigator. You know that's a very rare thing to have on that level as well. So going back to this thing, now you referred to a session where it was inferred demon, right? And I don't like this. I'm not a big believer in that sort of stuff, and I know that you're not either. But there's way too much of that going on at the moment in terms of our industry, I believe. But so we've got this turn up in terms of it's a communication, and it's said the demon thing. So, and I know when I spoke earlier to you today, you goes, I'm not buying any of that. That was nonsense. Yeah. What? Tell us about that instance, and tell us why you believe that was just like nothing.
I mean, if it is a demon as such, if you believe in them, they're not going to tell you that they are. I mean, it didn't give us a name, which is fair enough because they don't tend to, but neither would a negative energy. They don't always give off names, but it was a lot of swearing, and it wasn't intelligent enough to be a demon. I mean, it didn't give us any information that it shouldn't have known, or anything that like someone on the group would know, but no one else did. It was just swearing. I mean, that could be anything, but I don't think it was dark enough to be a demon.
Okay, so if that's the case, then what I'm gonna look. I know the set of guests. I know it's not going to be the case, but I've got to ask the question. So if it's not what it says, is it possible that a guest was manipulating that situation?
It could have been. If you're looking at it at a point of you didn't personally do the Ouija board or you didn't see it, it could have been. However, our guest had gloves on, and you can't move that planchette with gloves on. Your finger just slides. So I don't think it was a guest.
And I think that's what I wanted to get to with you saying, because you were there, you were the witness of this situation, and we've seen it all before. And I knew that you was going to say something along those lines. It's not, and I said, it's not the guests.
Yeah.
In this occasion, it's not the guests. We know them, and it's not the guests. So we've had this situation. You're potentially talking to a spirit. This is where it gets interesting. The spirit is intelligent enough to want to try to shock, but at the same time, trying to do that in various methods, using bad language, using the word demon, and the final throw of the dice was actually to try and discard the planchette.
Yeah, nothing else happened. Like in the room, we were asking it, can you make a noise? If you're that powerful, you can knock on a door, open a door. Nothing. The room was silent. It dropped in temperature, but I mean, that could have been because we were in the glass house and it is a bit open and it is a lot colder in that area. But nothing else happened. There was nothing dark or bad that happened to us.
Did we get any interesting photographs or audio recordings or anything like that that you're aware of?
Not audio recordings that I know of, but we did record the Ouija session, so I'm not sure what was picked up in that.
Okay, well, I'm going to go through that footage in the next couple of days and make a fresh start of getting these things done. So I will let you know. Obviously, I'll let everyone know if there's hits on that. And the people that were on that event with us on that night, all that information will be fed back to you and stuff. But I wanted to just pause for a second and just say thanks very much for all the likes and all the bits and pieces. Wonky's mum, oh my God, you are giving us so many roses. I'm so grateful for you. That's 100 roses. Thank you so much for that. We were on 11,500 likes. That's an incredible thing. Thank you so much to everybody that's tapping away at the screen for us tonight as we venture through the things that happened on this night with Molly, who was the event leader on this night at the Mint House in Pevensey. So Molly, that's kind of the overview. We know what happened. You've been through, you've told us all the things and stuff. So I'm going to put it to you, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not haunted, 10 being haunted, where would you put this night, not the area, not the house itself, where would you put this night on that scale?
I'd put this night maybe at a 6 or a 7. We had activity and we had quite a lot of information come through, but nothing was seen as such. I mean, supposedly some people saw a shadow, but to see a full-on shadow figure in a door and everyone to see it would have been phenomenal. Okay,
I think that's the thing what we've got to get to, is that what we're saying is that people had experiences, but did we collect the evidence of that? And the mission for us is obviously to collect the evidence. Yeah. And whilst the experience is there, we've got witness testimony, perhaps, which is one piece. But if we get physical evidence, that's got to be photographs, audio recording, other things. Or it's got, so when we did have your witness testimony of a dark shadow going across was actually witnessed by 2, which is more compelling than just 1, because 2 people witnessed it at the same time. So I think we're a little bit on the case with that. But no matter how hard we try to collect evidence, sometimes it just doesn't get delivered.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to look at. And the result from a Ouija session, unfortunately, for me personally, will never really sit as evidence unless the information that comes from it is really fascinating and researchable and can lead us in the right directions. And at the moment, I don't know what we're going to get if we research the words that were discovered on the Ouija board on this night. Probably nowhere fast, I'm sure.
No. I think our second Ouija board, we had a lot more names and dates come through because that was in the Oak Room. That had a lot more information than the first one.
Okay. Well, Molly, do you have anything further you'd like to add?
I think Mint House is a really good location. But if you go, I would wrap up warm because it was cold.
It certainly is. Well, the next event we have there is with availability is in March, I believe. And it's a little bit warmer in March. It's certainly not in the minus territory. I don't think, although it might be. Who knows? Because it could snow in March. Sometimes it does. But let's hope not. But thank you so much for giving us your time tonight, Molly, and going through what happened on your event at the Mint House with us. We're up to 13.5 thousand likes and all sorts of roses and things going on and things. I'm so grateful for everyone that's supported us tonight with all that sort of stuff. Thank you for such an awesome night, Molly. Courtney's just said. Thank you so much to everyone that's in the chat area, liking the live. It's so brilliant to see you. It's our first Peace Live in this way. We'll assess whether or not we continue with these if they're useful or interesting. But thank you so much for everyone that's been here. Thank you so much, Molly, for that night. It was brilliant. Thank you so much for that, delivering that to our guests, and for coming on here and saying your piece as well.
Thank you. You're more than welcome.
All right. And I will let you return to your evening and everyone else in the land of the TikTokery. And so where are we actually? All right, look, we're on 13.9 thousand likes. Let's get to 14 and then we'll let you get to bed. Or not get to bed. What time is it even? It's only 20 to 9. Who goes to bed at this time of day? There we are, 14,000 likes. Thank you so much, everybody. And I don't even know how to end the live. I'll take it, we just press the off button and I hope it doesn't hear us swearing as we walk downstairs. All right. Molly, thanks very much. I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.